Math is a
subject.
thing. It's not made
It's a
up.
made up subject.
No, that's the language of. That's the language of the world. Math is the language of the world. What are you talking about? What?
Couldn't have said it any better. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Voro-Pod. Today's episode we're going to be talking about ancient Egypt and analyzing their whole entire kingdom, or what's a better word for it? You have one?
Empire.
Empire, that's the one I was looking for. Yeah, but before we get into that, let's do our intro and let's just first of all dive straight in to the Bible verse of the day. So today we're going to be analyzing Joshua 1:5.
All
Let
right.
me pull it up and read it here.
Uh-huh.
No one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Doc, what does that mean to you, Alik?
I mean, to you. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I think.
It is.
Really straightforward.
How would you analyze it?
God is always by your side. No
And how does that
matter
make
what.
you feel?
It makes me feel strong.
So are you going to take those opportunities to dive into things that you wouldn't usually dive into, and say, because in the back of your head you're going to think oh, God's with me, so I can do this and I can do that, and at the end of the day he's going to be with me.
So who
Is
can
that
be
how you
against
think
me?
about that? So I'm going to take the chance on this business opportunity because if I fail, I know God is with me. Is that the type of mindset you have with it?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's not more of a forward. It's no matter how bad things get, it's you know that God's with you and this is part of your plan or part of your path, I guess. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
of course you have to have confidence, but business confidence. Yeah, you need to bring God with you, and God is who you have to pray to first before when it's good, when anything is bad. But
Right. The way I
yeah,
said it,
I mean,
that's definitely not the way you should do it, because that's kind of using him or taking advantage of that particular verse. That's not what you're supposed to do, because in the end God can punish you if you're not being taken into the serious way, pretty much.
yeah, because the old church, I think they were called Catholic. I don't know. Were they Catholic up in the year thousands and the
Mm-hmm.
1200? Do you know what they were? They were
The
Catholic.
Roman Catholics, yeah, that's
Roman
what.
Catholics. They did everything with support of God, without actually knowing if it was supported with God. Anything the king said was God supported. So that was
Well, right,
that verse was
because
probably
during that
abused.
time, they usually didn't let people read the Bible. They pretty much said oh, we'll keep it to the priest and to the church, pretty much, and the church was run by the king, so everyone, I guess, just pretty much listened to what the king said, and he took advantage of that situation. That's
Yeah,
why, with that type of thing. But
yeah, that verse was abused.
right, yeah, this verse was definitely very straightforward. I would just kind of want to see what you thought about it, and it's kind of in a way a motivational piece, because is or a boost of confidence, because you always have your back covered, pretty much. That's what that verse
Uh-huh.
is saying, so
Yeah.
it's kind of what I want to bring up today.
Yeah.
But yeah, got any update stories, anything happening?
Everything is same old, to be honest.
You've
School.
been really
Well, I
busy
mean,
lately, right?
yeah, I passed the exam. I'm completely
Attaboy.
into
What'd you
comp
get?
TIA.
High 90, high 80? Forgot
High
what you said.
80,
High
right
80.
under 90. It was 88%.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's decent. You only needed a 65% to pass. It's just the question just all over the board. So, you
Mm-hmm.
I got a pretty good score. Better than any of my practice scores as well. I don't know how I got that high, but whatever.
Were you confident when you were taking the test
Oh
through the whole
yeah,
entire time, or were
I
you
knew
kind
I
of
was gonna
shoot?
pass.
Okay, that's
Well,
good.
I mean, so what the teacher told me, he said to go through everything and skip the ones that that takes you a little second to think. It takes you a little to think. And so I did the ones that I was 100% sure of, like I don't know, 90% sure
Hmm.
of. I went through all of them, and then at the end, I went through the ones that I wasn't sure. And after I counted it, it was like 30 questions I answered that I was like 90% sure that I was gonna pass already. And so I just went through the last section, and then
Yeah, that's what I
that
usually
was it.
always do. Like, if I don't know how to answer, I'm not gonna waste my time because I'm just gonna stress over it and it's gonna ruin the rest of the test pretty much.
Really?
Because yeah, because if you answer, if you sit and like try to think about it, it's gonna demotivate you. And you're like, shoot, I don't know what I'm doing, and then later on,
Mm-hmm.
your confidence is gonna dip, and then you like screw up later in the test as well because you're gonna second guess yourself.
Yeah, I had a bad technique of taking tests before when I failed the first time. So
Mm-hmm.
I went through the whole thing and like I didn't like skip anything. So I went through them and then I like on the ones that I thought that I got wrong or the I don't even know how the ones that were difficult. I put a check mark, but I still answered it
Mm-hmm.
like to the best of my knowledge. I went through every single one, and on those check marks, I'd at the end come back and go through every single one of those check marks, and every single question, I changed the answer to, which was like
Yeah, that's
horrible
not smart to
because
do because, like, that's most people even say the first. You have to always stick with your first answer because that's usually the one
yeah,
that's going to be right. When you second guess yourself, it just you always get it wrong, or you're more likely to.
yeah, I wasn't very good at tests, but this way works. I guess I'll keep
Mm-hmm.
using this technique.
You want to talk about No Shave November? I saw you. I see
No
that your beard's
shave.
coming in as well.
Yeah, I think I'm what? Let me see. What's today's date?
You started
17th.
later, right?
I started around 2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks
Two
ago.
weeks
Okay,
probably 2 weeks.
that's
Maybe
pretty
even less to
much.
be honest.
That's pretty much when November started. Cause what's the 17th right now?
It was like
Yeah.
5 days after. I
Yeah, I
started
kind
a
of
little late.
I started even earlier before November. I think I started like a
Yeah.
week and a half before, and or maybe 2 weeks before, and now I got this going. I honestly hate it. I think it looks stupid and
You
it's like
do?
really uncomfortable, but um, I really want it to like fill in on the cheeks. Like it's super thin right here. Like you can probably
Mm,
barely see in the camera. There's like a line, but it's like super patchy.
yeah.
But yeah, it
I
is what it
heard
is.
I heard that there's this thing. It's called a derma roller. Not only helps with like growing beard, but no, it helps you like scars on your face.
Exfoliate. Yeah,
I guess
I
scars.
I seen that, but I don't know if it actually works. Cause like I've heard that those like beard rollers and like everything that helps your beard grow is all fake. Like it's just genetics. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, it's
But
not. Maybe it helps the beard grow. Maybe it doesn't. But I
yeah.
have a lot of scars. I don't know. It just like a lot of stuff on my face that I would like to use the thing. We'll
Mhm.
see. I guess I haven't ordered yet. I'm gonna take a look. Maybe order
Well,
it later.
with time, the scars will definitely heal, but
Yeah,
like you
I'm.
just have to.
Yeah, it's taking me a couple of weeks to actually find a way to clear my face up because I've been trying out new things and it just keeps coming every single day.
You're a grown boy,
New.
Alik. You're still
Yeah,
growing.
I guess so.
Vitamin D helps with that. Did you know?
Think so.
Going outside. I don't know if you heard about it, but
Vitamin D? Nah, I'd
there
rather
is
take the
something called
pills to be
outside.
honest. Rather take
You
the
don't like going
pills if I'm
outside?
being honest. Eh,
Yeah, it's cold outside. We'll wait till next year.
it's actually freezing outside. It
Yeah.
was 20 something yesterday.
It's gonna keep on getting colder for now. Probably just stay
It
the
sucks
same
that it
at this
doesn't
point.
snow though. It only snowed like 2 days.
Yeah, same for us.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it was one day it snowed, melted, and then a couple days later it snowed and melted again.
Oh, I actually think it only one day, and then it melted in the same morning, which is
Yeah.
it wasn't like. I was driving home, and it was just like snow on the windshield. Like
Shoot, dude, I got
the water
two sauna
froze.
stories actually.
Actually,
Yeah, these sauna stories are getting crazy. Like
what
I
kind of
think
sauna
last
stories?
last week I had one, and this time, so it's just two different occasions, but one of them I like walked in and there was probably like 7 guys in there. It was
Oh,
absolutely packed. Yeah, it's not a big sauna. Actually, it might have been. I don't know. Like people kept cycling through. It was crazy. Like I've never seen that many people in like my gym sauna. But anyways, I was talking to this guy, and I don't remember what we were just probably talking about diet and just regular gym stuff. And then eventually he brought up what I'm gonna do. It was like a Saturday night, and he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do this Saturday night?" Some old guy, and I was like, um, I don't know if how I should answer that coming from an old person, but I'm gonna take this lightly. I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm just gonna stay at home, do my homework. 'Cause I have a math test, and then I might actually film a podcast. And he's like, "Oh, podcast." So we started talking about that, and he said like, "Oh, I got this computer. I've been trying to get more like tech experienced and film videos and stuff like that." And then he ended up going out like a minute later, and then there was this teenager sitting next to me, and he's like, "Shoot, you film podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just kind of recently got into it. I used to film YouTube videos, and I just like really interested in doing stuff like that." And he's like, "I actually just got a computer as well, and I'm about to post my first YouTube video." And then there's like a bunch of guys in there. We started talking about like posting YouTube videos and like Joe Rogan and stuff like that. It was just funny because like people at the gym, they like all have like the same interest as you, and it's like, I don't know, at least like the ones I talk to, it's kind of fun to like find people like-minded. And honestly, it might bring this guy onto the podcast or like film videos with him. I got like in contact with him. He's a pretty cool kid.
Yeah.
But
Do you know? Sorry. Do you know what he post? What he was gonna post
no,
on YouTube?
I didn't ask him. Yeah, like we were just like talking to Son, and I left because I was already there for a while. So like I didn't stay long enough to really figure that out yet. But if I see him again, I'll talk. You know, just like that type of thing. And then
Nice.
the second story was actually today. Another old guy. There's a bunch of old guys at the gym that really like talking to me, but it was interesting. He complimented my physique and said like, "Oh wow, like what, 220 pounds?" Because he saw me step off the scale. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting up there." And he's like, "Your chest really filled out, and then it's like your biceps looks nice and stuff like that." And he's like, "Hey, let me see those thighs." I'm like, "Okay." I lifted up my shorts, flexed for him. He's like, "Yeah, yep, the thighs are small." And I'm like, "Thighs are small?" Like I've always gotten compliments for my thighs being huge. I was just surprised. I'm like, you know, that kind of makes sense. I've been slacking on legs lately, so like I don't know, it makes sense. So I'm gonna start focusing on doing that. But then he told me to turn around and like check my back out, and he started like touching me right here. And it's like, "Oh yeah, you need to work on this."
Did he tell you to do a? Did he tell you to do a butt spread as well? Glute spread.
Nah, I'm definitely over exaggerating. It wasn't anything weird. Like this guy's like really into fitness, and he's like passionate about that. So he's like truly trying to help me. I definitely like in the moment I wasn't thinking of it being weird, like an old guy complimenting me. I just thought about it like an old guy trying to help me out type of thing. So he told me that my back needs a lot of more like thickness and work on my legs, work on my form. So yeah, that's kind of what I took that in. And
Well,
yeah,
I actually have.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I have actually an old guy story as well. And it's multiple times as well too. There's
same old guy.
Yeah, same old guy. There's something about the gym, gym that those old guys like to.
They just like talking, dude.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's so weird though. Like, okay, so.
Like you felt awkward in the moment, or
I did for sure multiple times with this guy. Like I don't know, I can't get a read on him. He's just so weird. So the first time I met him, and then I went played pool with a bunch of guys, and he was there. He invited. He was like, "Oh, there's gonna be a bunch
at the
of
gym."
People. No, pool table.
Oh, but wait? He was there.
Well, he invited me. At the first, it wasn't really weird. Right? He was just
so
like.
You went actually.
Yeah, I went.
Okay.
I went to play pool with this guy, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, here, take my phone number." He texted me, and like I didn't text him. I didn't text him for a while, and then I texted him when I was at his restaurant. I texted him, "Oh, are you in today, or are you
Crazy
not?"
Riz.
Oh no, I wasn't.
He just snuck that number in there. He's like, "Hey,
here you go." No. He texted me. He took my number. He texted me. I didn't text him for weeks, and then yeah, he he's just like, oh no, I'm not there. And then my friend, cause I told them, they're like, oh, I know the manager, or whatever, the guy,
Mm-hmm.
boss guy. And so my friend goes in there and he starts talking to the grandpa, and he said his name was Joe. So, and then and then the grandpa asked me when I'm gonna be at the gym. I said, okay, whatever. I'm gonna be at the gym at 7 o'clock. I think it was like a Friday, 7 o'clock
Okay.
Friday. Like, actually, no, I said 5:30. No, I said 5:30. So I got there. I'm doing my workout. Right after the workout, I go to the steam room, and he was there, and so that's when it got weird. He's like, "Oh yeah, I met your friend Joe. I forgot his last name." I was like, but I don't really know a guy named Joe. Like I know a guy named Joe, but he's not my friend. And this guy's name was Ilya, and so I was like, all right, I had to play along. And then this guy starts talking about the most random stuff. He's like, oh my, he's like, how long is your leg? Like after we're done, we go to the shower. How long is your leg? And then
Go to shower
like,
with him?
no, there's like separate showers. I didn't even know he was there. I took a shower,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
he took a shower with his like there's like a curtain
Yeah.
to close the shower. His was completely open. He was taking a shower completely open. I walk out. I try to leave. He's like, oh wait. He starts to talk to me, and then he's like wiping himself off completely naked. And starts.
Oh wait.
And then he goes like, how long are your legs? And he's like, what are you, like 6'3", 6'4"? I was like I'm 6'1". And then he goes, oh wait, how long are your legs? I was like, I'm like 32. And he goes, oh yeah, I'm 31. He goes like this. Like, I'm like, he's like, I'm 31 from here to here.
That's hilarious. Completely naked.
Completely naked, dude. I was just staring away. I wasn't even
I would have
looking.
went. Seems like you're a little bit longer than that.
And then he started talking about his friend, how his friend's legs are 36
His friend's even
inches.
longer? Oh,
36-inch legs.
I think he's trying to get you with his friend, honestly.
Just wait, watch, listen. He goes. Oh, whenever you're free, because I said I was busy like next couple of days, because I didn't want to meet up with him or anything like that. And then he goes,
Right.
whenever you're free, we'll set up a massage therapy for you.
Happy.
He's a massage therapist.
Bruh. That guy's crafty with his hands. I don't know. If I was in your shoes, I'd definitely take advantage of that situation.
That is so weird. I don't even know how to respond to this guy, honestly.
Nah, bro, you gotta take it. Take that.
Take
opportunity.
what?
It's free.
What opportunity? Of course.
Any day of the week. Honestly, I would come in 5 times a week.
But
Every
what if he
single time
just?
he's
What
open.
if he doesn't want the? What if he wants more than just a massage therapy?
Are you kidding me for free? Alik,
What are you talking about?
you're not kidding, right?
What?
You wouldn't take that opportunity up?
I'm still debating. I'm debating about going there or
What's
not,
there to
because I don't know
question?
what's
What's
the
there to
question?
question?
because I don't know his.
It's a win-win
his
situation.
motives. Definitely is not.
It's
I
a
might have to
win-win.
go with a friend. I might have to go with another guy. We'll see.
Hook your boy up. Honestly, Brett, take me. I'm
Hook
gonna
my
go
boy
to
up.
Missouri
Take
just
you.
for this massage.
Let's go. He'll fix up your back real nice.
Oh, what? 31 inches, you said, right?
31.
31. How old is this guy?
Ooh, he's old. He's retired.
Okay.
He's
And
60 something.
He
He's
still
like,
works as a masseuse?
no, he just does it for just his friends. Yeah, his
Okay.
friends.
Yeah, that's definitely a weird guy. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
retired, but you want a massage? My boy. Yeah, I'll
I don't
definitely
know.
stay away from that guy, real talk, though. He's definitely into
Dude,
some
that was
weird stuff.
the most awkward time in the gym ever. He's just standing naked and showing me his leggings.
Did you like what you saw, though?
Definitely not.
Hey, sure. So with these Sonic conversations, move on. Anyways, let's get into this Egypt thing, the main topic. Ancient Egypt. the land of many wonders. All right, we're ready. Got our glasses on, slicked back hair, nice looking shirt. You see that?
Oh,
Anyways, let's
I
get
see.
into it. I'm ready. We got a little background on ancient Egypt over here. So, ancient Egypt began um, around like the Nile River and that crest over there in the north east end of Africa, and it was in the year 3150 BCE, give or take, just depending on which historian you ask. But there was two lands. There was the Northland, which was called the White Land, and then there was a Southern Land, which was the Red Land. And those two lands were in conflict for like many generations or years. Like they fought all the time, and there was never a clear winner. However, at one point, the Northern Kingdom actually won, and they unified the two kingdoms and created ancient Egypt, like as we know it today. And this unification was like held up or lasted for around 30 centuries. See, it's like it was even hard for me to pronounce it right there. It was so astonishing. That's a stutter on that one.
Insane.
But yeah, it was unified around 3150 BC and lasted until like 332 BC when Alexander the Great took over. So that's like kind of a little background about it, but it was obviously a great empire. It lasted for such a long time. Like that's unheard of for a 3,000-year reign of a kingdom. Like yeah, they had their ups and downs, but that's like most kingdoms only last like a couple hundred years or at max like 1,000. So
Yeah, it's insane because I don't. I just couldn't imagine 30
you
centuries.
just couldn't.
Just can't imagine 30 centuries. That's insane. How much? How long that is? How were they able to keep in power for that long?
I guess they just knew what they were doing, right?
Think so?
Oh yeah.
Or do you think it was just strong? It's called they had the people under a strong arm. They knew
Yeah.
what they were doing.
We'll kind of talk about that later
Maybe.
in this thing, but let's just get into their religion and culture. So, one of the first things I want to talk about is obviously what ancient Egypt is known like well for, which is mummification. Like in today's time, people interpret that as like being something from a scary movie, or like you could, even on Halloween you see people always dressed up as mummies. It's just that's like how
I don't
people
know.
see it. You haven't seen?
Nope.
What do you mean?
I don't really do anything for Halloween. Like I don't see people.
Well, obviously you don't do anything,
Halloween,
but like
so
that's just like a typical stereotype where people
think
dress
so?
up as mummies. Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Anyways, it's in scary movies as well. Like people, that's how we interpret like it being like a scary thing in today's time. But back then, it was a well-respected thing, and the only people that really like did it or mummified people were like well-practiced specialists. So it was like a very important thing for their culture. And the reason they did this was to keep the body safe after death because they believed in like the soul being alive, and if the body was kept safe, then the soul would have like a good afterlife and also live. But like if the body was like damaged or didn't get like protected, I think they believed that like it wouldn't have an afterlife. So something I kind of want to bring up was like with soldiers, like they probably whenever the soldiers died, they just didn't have like an afterlife. That's what they believed in, which is kind of interesting.
Really?
Yeah, because like you would think that soldiers would be like well respected and everything, but their bodies were just pretty much like stomped on during the battlefield. So
That's
in
not
their
good.
belief, that would mean that they like wouldn't have the same praise like in the afterlife or something like that.
Well, yeah.
So it just kind
I
of shows.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
probably because of uh the people that were mummified were the only people that could afford like rich tombs. But I do know
right.
that other people did have tombs. Like it wasn't like all soldiers. Some soldiers I guarantee were still
Like yeah, the
taken to
generals and
tombs.
stuff.
I don't I think maybe some of the regular soldiers too.
Yeah,
Because there
maybe.
were private tombs where like it was like inside of dug inside of mountains, caves, I guess, I don't know. but yeah, they were dug inside of caves. The regular
Mm.
families did that. I don't know specifically
Well,
about
yeah. So
soldiers,
like,
but
since it was like such a big practice in Egypt to like mummify the people, and they like used it as a way of like respect, the poor citizens would still like try to do the same thing, and probably, obviously, they didn't have like massive gold tombs and everything, but they tried their best to like respect their like fellow family, I guess, and stuff. So, but yeah, the reason they did that was because, in a sense, it was like the Egyptians' way of practicing religion, because like that's the way they expressed their belief in the afterlife. So that's kind of what like one of their practices of religion was. And I kind of want to talk about like how they created these mummies. So first of all, they began by just removing all the moisture and all like the inner organs, and then like you seen pictures or like videos of like brains and stuff in bottles, how they used to
yeah.
do that, which is like, so they pretty much like removed everything. So that was pretty cool. That's probably how the surgeons learned. You don't think that's cool?
No, I don't.
What do you mean?
How's that
That's like,
cool?
because it's fascinating. That's how they learned about
It's
like the
not.
human body.
I don't care.
What do you mean you don't care?
Just don't care.
So you don't care about learning?
Not about that. No.
You don't care about your own body? You clearly do, Alik.
I don't care about brains in bottles.
Why not?
What do you mean? What kind of question is that?
That's how you
What do you mean, why
learn.
not?
That's how they learned anatomy, and that's like why Egyptians were well known for like being the
Oh, I don't
first
care.
people to get into surgery. Ah, get a load of this guy. Unbelievable, Alik. But I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. Um. Anyways, let me get back onto topic since Alik was so disgusted with my comment. They would remove all of the organs. You hear that? And make sure the body was dry. And after that, they would use like natural preservatives. Um, and they would inject that into the body to make sure it was like didn't get decomposed and stuff. And wrap it in like some type of cloth and place it in a casket or tombs, like that you were saying. Like some of them put their family mates in caves, but like the pharaohs or kings, they were placed in the pyramids as like a sign of respect. I think that's what they did it, or just status. Honestly, that's
I
probably what
think
it was.
I think some of them were put into pyramids, and then some of them
Well,
were
yeah, like
put into what was it called? There's like temples and like built
which ones were put
specifically.
into pyramids? Do you know
Just
like specific ones?
whoever built them.
Okay, so like when
Uh,
the kings were still alive, they would build their own pyramids, and then they would get
yeah,
buried into there. Yeah,
yeah.
or placed into there, not necessarily buried. But that's kind of the way I just explained how they did the mummification is kind of similar to the way we treat dead bodies in our current society. So it's just kind of crazy how times haven't really advanced in that sort of way. Like, because we do the same thing, we clean out the body, put some type of preservatives in there, and then after that, you just bury them. So just like, it's kind of interesting. I guess there are new tactics now or ways to get rid of the body, which is like people do ashes. But honestly, back in the Greek times, they did the same thing where they burned the body. So just kind of thought that was interesting how we have been advanced and kind of like disposing bodies, you know?
I mean,
Like,
what new is there to do? Like,
right, like
there's nothing
obviously I
new.
don't know anything, but like in a lot of aspects of our life we've advanced, but in that sort of way we haven't. So I just thought that was kind of interesting when I was researching. But yeah, it's kind of wanted to talk about that. But what do you think about mummification? Do you find it like disgusting or weird or like
I
respectable?
mean,
What?
it's disgusting because it's just a dry. It's like your dry body, like you're dry, like your skin is like you look like I don't know. You look like a mummy. You look
You
like
look like a
bones.
mummy?
You look like
Well,
a
you're
mummy.
wrapped afterwards. Like,
Well,
you're
yeah,
telling me
but still,
you wouldn't want to be treated like that when you were dead?
you don't want that kind of drip.
Trippy, I can say so. But you don't think that's like cool or anything? You just find it disgusting?
Nah, I just don't really care.
You don't
I just
care?
don't. I don't care enough about it.
I see.
Like, I'm not. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want them to do that to me. I actually don't know what I want when I die.
You don't know? I
No.
find that actually kind of interesting because it's like
You want to get mummified?
I'm not saying that. I just find it interesting that they use that type of method. Like there was different civilizations that did the same thing, like the ancient Aztecs and like South America, like those ancient civilizations, they did the same thing where they had like temples and they mummified their dead or like the kings or whatever. But yeah, just like it's different than what we kind of do in today's time, so that's why I find it interesting. But I definitely wouldn't want that to happen to me. I think I just want to do like the simple thing, like casual
Just like we.
embalming and
Yeah.
then just have a regular funeral. Yeah, I think that's the best way, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe times will change by the time we're gonna die, so we'll have something cool.
Something cool. Send me to space. Just drift
Dude,
in
that would be
space.
sick.
Yeah, you
You're
just
like
drift in
Elon
space.
Musk's car, just
Yeah.
couple $1 billion just to fly you out there.
I don't. I think it's gonna be a lot cheaper than that
Oh yeah, obviously with
future.
time.
when
But
we die. Be a
but
lot cheaper.
that's I doubt they would do that. That's like sending bodies into space. That's not necessarily a good thing
Why?
because it's gonna make it like there's gonna be junk everywhere. And the way
Why
our
to
solar
travel?
system works is that eventually, like, if you like the what's it called, the gravitational pull.
Gravity.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it if you send it out, it always like somehow makes its way back into Earth or something like that. Like a lot of the times, like I watched a
What do you
YouTube
mean?
video where it says it's super hard to hit the like center of the sun. Like if you send a rocket into the sun, like it's very hard to actually get the rocket there because it ends up like spinning a different direction or something like that. So you don't want just a bunch of spaceships flying around into space.
I never
And
heard
because
about that.
yeah, I was
All
watching a video about getting rid of nuclear junk. So
waste.
when they have the nuclear reactors going,
Yeah, I
and
know what you're saying. I know what
okay,
you're
yeah, so there's like the uranium junk that's left, and this theory said that if it's worth it to send that nuclear waste into space, so we don't have to even deal with it. But they said it's impractical. First of all, because of the money reason, but
saying.
also that it can result in spaceships coming back into the Earth's atmosphere and just gonna be like raining down toxic waste. And
Well, there's always a chance of that. Yeah.
well, there's like it's a high percentage that it returns back to Earth because of the pool.
Just sounds that sounds completely wrong.
That's what the video said.
Because Earth is not the biggest gravitational pull in the solar systems. The sun is. Everything is going to the sun. All the gravity is pulled towards the sun, so that doesn't.
You would
make
think
sense.
so, but like the way they explained this video said that even though that the gravitational pull is pulling towards the sun, the rocket like it struggles to actually hit the sun. Like I don't know, it doesn't seem right, but that's what that video said, and they're like a highly credible YouTube's like channel. It's like I think it was infographics or something like that posted it. And
Interesting.
yeah, I just
I'm
kind
gonna
of
have to
want
do
to
some
say that,
research on
but
that.
like to that theory. Anyways, let's get off the topic of death and mummification. Kind of dark.
Well, we could speak about the curses.
Oh, the curses.
We
Oh
could
yeah,
speak about the
talk about that
curses.
conspiracy theory.
So, I think it was a conspiracy theory back in the 1900s when what was the name? King
King Tut,
Tutankhamun's
the youngest
Tutankhamun's
Egyptian
tomb.
pharaoh.
In the Valley of the Kings near Luxor, Egypt. He was found in 1922. Isn't that when was World War II?
It was around there. 1916 it started, and like 1920. I think.
Oh wait, no, 1939. That's World War One probably.
World War Two.
19, 1914 to
1939 is World War Two.
1918. Yeah, it was World War One. But
For
it was a couple
39?
years after. What?
Wait.
I said 39 is World War Two. I was saying this one is closer to World War One.
Oh,
This is
okay.
4 years after World War One. All right, that's insanely long ago. That's
100 years
insane.
ago.
Yeah, exactly 100 years ago. So, the curse. It was like very big in the news because what was his name?
King Tut.
No. King. They found King Tut, and then Howard Carter opened the hole where he found the tomb, and
Okay.
then the expeditioner sponsor Lord Carnarvon died in 1923, and then 6 other people died as well in the next decade that opened it.
How old were all those people?
I don't have any information about that,
Okay. Well, so
but
you're
it was
so the
they
conspiracy
were
theory is
old.
saying that people that like open up the tombs or
They find the tombs.
yeah,
Yeah.
they find the tombs, they have a curse on them, pretty much.
Well, haven't you seen what was the movie Mummy? Have you
I
seen the movie
think I've
Mummy?
seen that. Yeah.
It's it's like it's something based on that, but yeah, it's everybody thought that in 1922. There's still a lot of people that think that
So
now.
you think, shoot, do they know why they died? Was it just like
Blood poisoning. That guy
blood
at least.
poisoning?
The guy.
Okay, well, if
Blood
it's blood
poisoning.
poisoning, that definitely could make sense because there's maybe some type of like mold or something in that tomb when they opened it up and it's like they breathed it in or like somehow got into their body.
But
But
the
yeah,
thing
that's
is, the
kind of
main guy didn't die.
the main guy.
The main guy, the first guy to open it, didn't die. It was
But
six.
everyone else that was on his team died.
Like 6 people. The team was 26 people, and 6 people died out of the 26 people in the next day.
That doesn't seem. That's a
That
lot of
doesn't seem
time,
very
actually.
sketch.
Yeah, I don't
10
know about
years?
that.
10 years is not that long for a
It
lot of people
definitely
to
is,
die.
because if they were like older and stuff like that, just kind of 6 out of 26 people. Shoot, Attic, I thought you had some good stories over here.
What are you talking about?
What kind of conspiracy theory is this? Ah,
He was 40 something, Howard,
oh shit.
when he opened it. Yeah, he died 64 in 1939.
He lived his life.
Well, that guy didn't die. Like that
I
guy
see, yeah.
didn't die to that cause. But I'm not bringing up information. I'm just bringing up
No,
that
I
there's
was
a
just
curse.
messing with you, dude. That's definitely like an interesting story. That I don't know. Maybe there is something to do with that because the ancient Egyptians they did believe in like curses and all of that like magic stuff. Like that was part of their religion. Like because they believed in like many gods and stuff, and like gods being, I guess, in charge of every like aspect of life. Because there's like a god of agriculture, there was a god of water, and they obviously had like a god of magic. So they believed in all that stuff. So who knows? Maybe it's true. Maybe the magic part of it is true.
Maybe, but blood poisoning is very very suspicious.
Yeah. Well, they all died of blood poisoning, or just that one guy?
There's only information on him.
And he died, like you
It's
said, within
6 weeks
6
after
weeks. Okay.
opening it.
So yeah, he probably got something. Like he might have like got some type of disease or something, or like something in that tomb got in his blood. Because if he's the only one, he might have like accidentally punctured himself and got some type of illness.
And this
I
was a
guess.
long time ago. This was 100 years ago. They couldn't really check what really happened. Like
Right.
they say that who knows? There's not many tests that you could do 100 years ago. What kind of tests could you really do to check what
Mhm.
was going on with his blood? But yeah,
Yeah. Um, Another religion I kind of want to bring up that the ancient Egypts had was the there was like a cult. It was called the Cult of Hathor, and it was like very popular amongst the people back then. But pretty much one of the practices that they practiced was the five gifts of Hathor. So pretty much what this means is that every time they had temptations or thoughts of ungratefulness, they had to like drop everything that they were doing and list five things that they were grateful for in their lives. So I obviously think that this is like a good practice, but honestly, it's kind of messed up because the people that were implementing this cult or religion on the poor citizens were living like royalty. Like they were kings that implemented it, or like the leaders of the cults, and they're like, yeah, yeah, while I'm living my good life, you just make sure you're grateful, you know? It's kind of
Make
like
sure
messed
you're
up.
happy.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah,
in a way they were just brainwashing
that makes sense.
the citizens or the lower class people, which is what pretty much a cult is, a leader that brainwashes people. But I don't know, it just kind of messed up because you see that throughout all of history where the leaders like of kingdoms and stuff, they pretty much brainwash their people, so they make sure to stay on the king's I guess like path or his beliefs and stuff like that.
I mean,
And
that's how they keep control.
right.
Like, there's
And
only a certain amount of ways they could keep
some are
control.
some can argue that that's happening to us right now, like the higher up or the new world order is controlling everyone. So
Oh,
I guess
100%. There's no
with every
doubt
single
about it.
kingdom or empire, there's always brainwashing and getting like controlled pretty much. But kind of want to talk about the five gifts of Hathor thing. What do you think about it? Do you think that's an important thing, or like a good thing that you can practice? Not necessarily just like the concept of this religion, because you don't want to like follow a different religion, but meaning the five the five gifts and like how, or no, sorry, let me rephrase that. The like the five things you're being grateful for. So like whenever you're just like having feelings of like ungratefulness, you can just stop and say, shoot, look at me in my life right now. Like I'm grateful for this. Like I'm blessed to have that. So I think pretty much what I'm saying is that I think that's an important thing to do, honestly. And in a way, this cult actually might have had like some sort of like good lessons. You know,
For some reason, I completely disagree.
you don't think that's a good thing to do?
Mm-mm.
Explain yourself.
Okay, so grateful, but like being ungrateful with stuff can lead you to wanting better, like wanting better, and put like motivation into you to go get it.
Right.
So, and if you're saying, "Oh, I'm happy for these five stuff," you're grateful where you are. So that kind of puts you in a place of
Right,
where
but
you're sitting.
if
You're not moving
you're
forward.
if you're sitting there saying like like I'm ungrateful for this, you have that victim mentality. Like there's a reason that people in low income communities stay in the low income communities and they don't make their way out of it. There's like a small percentage that have that like gift where they're, oh, I'm gonna make it out of here, like I'm gonna stay motivated, I'm gonna do this and that, and they like everything lines up and they make it out. But most people stay in the bad communities because they're stuck in that victim mentality and they can't get out of it. So if you're just saying like, shoot, I don't have this, I don't have that, like that's not healthy for your mind, and you're gonna just stay
I mean, but saying,
demotivated.
"Oh, I have this and I have this, so I'm okay where I am."
If you say I'm okay where I am, I understand what you're
Well,
trying to
okay,
say
but
there.
if you're saying, okay, well, yeah, there's always a little side to it. But if you say, "Oh, I'm ungrateful," like I'm ungrateful for this, I will reach better. I will do and get better. I'll
Yeah,
make myself
that's one
better.
way to look at it.
I guess
But
there's two sides of it.
yeah, I didn't even think about it that way. What I was thinking about is saying like, if you're ever like feeling down, it's like kind of unfair to say, like at least in our positions, where we like grew up in America, middle class family, like we're lucky. Like if we just say, "Oh, I'm grateful for this room I have," or like everything that I have, it's like it's unfair to feel upset or ungrateful. So you just say like, "I'm blessed for the opportunities I have, and I will continue to try to achieve better and like provide more for my family. If you're saying that, like, if you're blessed for something, or grateful for something, that you'll stay in the same spot. But like having that mindset will allow you to improve, and you're gonna have a better like outlook on life. So you're more likely to achieve. That's kind of how I look at it. But yeah, like what you were saying, there's definitely multiple angles, and you can like switch topic, or kind of like look at it a different perspective to switch like the thing.
I just, when you explained the 5 gifts of Hathor, and you said that the king was using it to keep, or like the people in power were using it to keep people down, that just makes sense why, right?
Right.
Because they were happy at where they are at. Because like they were happy, they were forced to be happy at where they're at. So that just kind of like clicked in my head. I just made it run from there.
I'm glad that made you think that way. That's good. We had a great conversation right there. I actually wasn't expecting to have like a contrary to my belief that I just said right there, but that was kind of interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. But you have anything else to add for the religions or their culture?
Culture and religion. Actually, I do have something to add to the curses a little bit. There's
Redemption
also
time?
redemption. Not really. I was just saying that they believe, even the Egyptians believe that whoever finds, like, whoever steals from those tombs, get cursed.
Get cursed?
Right? Yeah. That's why the curses are there. Whoever
Right,
steals
like,
from the tombs.
that's like also a well-known thing where even in TV shows like Naruto, we'll bring Naruto into this. They had like an episode or a series where there was the tomb raiders, I think that's what they called it, and they kind of like had a curse to them and stuff like that. Like that's the type of idea I got from those episodes. But yeah, like that's just a well-known thing where people that raid the dead get cursed and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like haunted, I don't know. That's not necessarily just from
Do you believe in that? Would you believe in that?
um shoot, I don't know. Like
Spirits.
I believe in spirits, obviously, and like evil spirits, and I think that they're like floating around us, and like they
Horny.
can cause an effect in their lives and stuff. But I think that I don't think you can I don't know, dude. That's kind of, it's definitely weird. Like I wouldn't think about messing with dead bodies, like, or digging them up. So maybe since that's like a taboo or like a frowned upon thing to do, maybe there is some type of curse to it. But I don't know. I don't think I have to worry about that curse because I'm never gonna go around dead bodies like that. Like that's disgusting.
Well, wouldn't really want to go around dead bodies, but
You don't even like brains in bottles.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I want to
I'm
go
kidding.
around. That's what I mean. But like, what was the when they were like, forgot the guy's name, when they're exploring, like finding lost treasure or whatever. Have you seen the guy that like goes on the tree or whatever? Dude, I completely forgot the name. He was all
What
over.
do you mean?
Like,
Explain
he's
a little
massive.
bit more. I'm actually interested.
So okay, like finding lost treasures. There's like TV shows or like movies about it. Like there's been movies for a while. I forgot the guy that like.
Is
Well,
it like?
he was basically doing it. Like he was like finding.
Was it
lost
real or was it just
treasure.
like a TV?
No. It's
It was like a movie.
It's a
A
movie.
movie.
It's in the movie.
Was it like the center of the Earth movie?
No.
Journey to the Sun. No.
No, it was
Recent
old.
movie?
It was old. It was old. Older.
Oh, there was like a whole TV series, right?
Probably yeah.
Treasure. I remember my siblings used to watch a lot.
Yeah.
Hunting.
But yeah,
Movie
what
series.
when you were a kid, didn't you want to like maybe like go find some treasure?
National.
Like when you're
Treasure?
watching those movies?
Jack
you know?
Hunter.
No. Dude,
The Lost
I completely
Treasure.
forgot.
Look it up. The Lost Treasure.
Lost treasure.
So you're saying that?
No. Maybe, but it was a specific character. But that doesn't matter.
What was the point you were about to say right there?
Doesn't matter. Haven't you when you were a kid and when you were watching like those kind of movies, treasure movies? I don't know. Maybe even center to the. I don't remember what the point of the movie was, but like what treasure hunt didn't you want to be a treasure hunter, or like you have? Did you put yourself in those feet ever, like in his shoes? Like, oh, if I would have found it, or like, ever
Honestly,
thought
not
like
really.
that?
I just found
No.
those movies like interesting while I was watching them, and like it was packed with action. But I don't think I ever wanted to be like a treasure hunter. Like even Pirates of the Caribbean, like it was cool that they like found that much treasure, like where they had the whole like lump of gold and stuff like that.
Oh, I
But I
didn't even
never like
watch it.
really, huh?
I didn't watch the Pirates of the Caribbean. I think I only watched like the
Anyways,
last one.
yeah, like I don't think that I ever really had that desire to be a treasure hunter. You
Really?
did?
Did you know that in Saudi Arabia, was that Saudi Arabia or Iran? One of those countries, there's a crazy amount of gold just dug in the ground because when people died, I think they dug the gold in the ground for like safekeeping or whatever. And so you're not allowed to find those treasures. You're not allowed to take it out of the country. And you're not allowed to dig for it. You're not even allowed to dig for it. But people do, which is, well, I was like looking at a video. I was like, shoot, kind of want to go. But obviously, it's illegal.
You need a lot of equipment for that. It's hard to do.
Well, it's not. Well, yeah, you need equipment. Um you need a network. You need a network of people in the
Yeah.
area, like ready with trucks, equipment, everything,
Yeah.
money.
So, dude, we're sidetracking here. Back to Egypt. I guess
Back to
Iran is
Egypt.
the same area, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's bring into a different, like a little different view. Let's talk about the government. Egypt didn't have anything like spectacular or anything like out of the ordinary with the government. Like with the first dynasty, when the North and South kingdoms, I guess, joined together. The first king was Narmer, and the type of government he established was just like a central government, which means there was one person in charge, which was him, and he had just military means. So like pretty much he just controlled all of that, like the military, and just pretty much was a monarchy. And the economy of Egypt at that time was pretty much just based off of agriculture. That's where they got all their money from, and that's all they can really provide was just food for everyone else. And they
For
just use
everyone
like
else?
like with surrounding countries.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they got all their money was through agriculture.
Because that area is very, very dry,
Very
and they have the
fertile, yeah.
Nile.
What?
No,
It's
the
dry?
area around. I said the area around them is dry,
Oh
but
yeah,
they got
okay,
the
that area
Nile.
is really fertile. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the Nile to help them with the water,
Even
but the area around is dry.
even when the Roman Empire was around, they used Egypt as their source of food. Like everything was grown in Egypt, and they just imported it from Egypt to feed their whole entire like empire at
Really?
that time. Yeah, Egypt was always known for being like good
But
agricultural.
why?
The Nile River, he said it.
Well, I know that, but like it doesn't look like that massive area. Like, what was Rome? You said Rome, right?
Hmm.
Rome was in control of Italy. It had. Do you know if it had parts of Ukraine? No, I know that.
It just had it around the whole entire Mediterranean Sea,
Okay, they had Turkey. I guess Turkey.
and they had like some
pretty
type
dry.
of. They controlled Egypt at that time. Like they
Well,
annexed
when they
Egypt.
took it over, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
in a
yeah.
way they took it over, but Egypt was still
Do
its own
you
thing.
do you remember what year they took over?
Rome,
Rome, yeah.
they took over, I think, in the year like 300. I'm pretty sure. Or hold up. So no, hold. This is what. So in the year 300, when the Egyptian empire like technically did fall apart, Alexander the Great came in with the Greek. He was like part of, or he, yeah, he was the in charge of the Greek Empire, or Macedon. Dude, I cannot talk. The Macedonian Empire, which is pretty much the same thing, but he was in charge of that, took over, and then in the year like 30 BC, Rome annexed Egypt, and they pretty much like helped them out and pretty much controlled them until like 300 AD or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I had so
So
much trouble right there
that's
saying that.
that's around where Jesus was born, right? Or
Yeah.
that's right before Jesus was
Yeah,
born.
even in the Bible, they talked about how Rome got most of their food from Egypt and stuff like that. I think that's
Hmm.
where I got it from, actually.
Jerusalem's
But
not too far from Egypt as well. That's why the Israelites were taken there.
yeah,
That's not too far, yeah.
but yeah, they got most of their money from agriculture, and they used they didn't have um a system of currency during that time, so they used the barter system to like trade
Mm.
or sell things. But yeah, there was the way their economy or like the whole system worked was the lower class peasants were the farmers, and they're the ones that pretty much got all the agriculture, and then their landlords were responsible for all those farmers. They collected all the wheat and all of their crops and stuff, and then gave them not a good amount of money, but just enough to live. Or I guess at that time, since they didn't have money, they developed money later on, but I don't know how they got paid in the early
They probably
parts of
left
the.
them some food
Yeah, left them
to
food and just
barter
made sure they
to
were taken
barter with
care
it,
of
yeah.
since they were the landlords.
Yeah.
But the all that food and stuff was given to the government, and then they would use that to trade with other countries and distribute throughout the whole entire nation at that time. But the king actually ruled from like the way they believed it or brainwashed their citizens was that he ruled from the mandate of the gods. So pretty much he he said that like all his actions or policies that were passed, he said, "Oh, the gods told me to do it this way or to do it like to set this law in place." So that's kind of how their government worked. The king pretty much just brainwashed their people, and then the people were like respected the gods, so they said, "You know what? Like we'll trust this guy and stuff like that." So
Well,
another way how
I'm pretty sure there was a couple that also counted themselves as God in front of the people.
the
They
kings.
called themselves God, yeah. Like specific, I think they chose specific ones, and they said like
I didn't hear
that
about
they're
that.
them, and they were it was like passed down by lineage. A certain period in time, they were passed down by lineage. It was, I think maybe three they got through before it was done. I'm not
Mm.
exactly sure. I know there was two for sure.
Yeah, but that type of, I guess, economy or government remained like that for around like 1.5 thousand years. It was like pretty much the same thing. Maybe they had like small advancements and stuff, but it was like that until the second part of the kingdom, which was called the New Kingdom of Egypt, and it approximately began in the year 1570 BC. And this is the most well known, I guess, era of the Egyptian Empire, and like the era that the historians study the most right now. So pretty much all of the dominant leaders and pharaohs reigned during this time, and they're it's like the most well known because like this that's like the most successful leaders reigned during that time. So that I just repeat myself right there. Anyways, um, shoot, I just lost my whole entire track. Okay, yeah, we were the new kingdom of Egypt. So they kind of like changed their whole entire government during that time. They had a police force that they installed, and they kind of started becoming more modern or advanced in this sort of way. And this they would continue to like get stronger and stronger, but by the time like 1000 BC came around, the Egyptian empire started to fall apart and began weakening. And this is because the government had less authority over the citizens, and it came to a point where there was like a bunch of civil wars that were growing in like magnitude, and people like started to rebel. They just didn't respect the king anymore, so they kind of want to change. And this kept on happening throughout like the generation starting from 1000 BC, and it's completely started weakening, and they had like sub sections in the empire. And around the year, like as I said before, around the year 300 BC is when Alexander the Great came through and pretty much took over. Like he liked the
Hmm.
Egyptians and like respected them, so he didn't conquer them completely. He just put in a Greek government and said, "You guys can do what you want, but like technically, I own this land." So that's kind of
Yeah,
what he did.
it's crazy to see because look at those time jumps. It goes from 1570 where they started putting in a police force, right?
Uh
And
huh.
they started functioning like a modern society. Which
Right.
thinking about right now, modern they're talking about right now or in the time modern, do you know?
What do you
Do
mean?
you know it was modern as in like right now type of modern where like there was freedom
Yeah, so they
or
started to modernize, like where
okay.
they started caring about like feelings more and stuff like that. If that's what you're the
Yeah.
direction you're trying to
All
go
right,
through.
yeah, I'm going in that direction. But look at those time jumps. It's insane to look at how long it took the government to collapse. That's 700 years till Alexander the Great came, and they were probably still going to be fine for hundreds of years if Alexander the Great didn't come in and
Right.
take
That,
over.
like the reason they fell apart or got captured is because they had a weakening government, so like they didn't
Yeah,
have the same like strength in the military and stuff. So if
but
they
it's insane to see that how much our phones because there's governments falling down right now, like in a matter of months. I
which
know
ones?
because, well, what was it? What was the little country next to India?
Ba-
The,
I don't know.
was it there? Okay,
Pakistan,
no, it was Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
There's governments like Libya that took like a couple years to fall apart, right? Uh,
Well, those are
and the
like third
Libyan
world
War.
countries.
Well, yeah, but
This was a
it's
main country that like the first world country that pretty much fell apart because it was one of the top dogs during its time.
okay. That's still like phones. You could see how fast phones like take over governments because Libya, it was still a what's it called, um, dictatorship, right? It
Mm-hmm.
was it a dictatorship? Li- It was the guy I forgot his name, but it was a dictatorship, and he lost it all because of technology, because everything just started moving so fast,
Well, so
and
you're
there was a
saying,
war inside of there. But
well, during
okay,
that time it wasn't technology that fell
there was
apart.
no
It was,
technology. I'm saying that it technology speeds things up like these, like falls of empires.
uh
It
huh.
speeds it up because people can't talk. There's no freedom. Like they can't spread news fast in a way that technology can. But back in the day, it was
So
all like
what you're
whatever
saying
the
pretty
king said
much
is true.
with freedom and like when people start to get comfortable, they start to like become too free and like go to directions that are like not necessary technically, and then that's what results into the fall of an empire. Is that kind of what you're trying to say?
Not really.
Okay, so
I was
I'm kind
saying
of confused.
that back in the time, they spent 700 years fighting civil wars. They
Uh
were just
huh.
fighting civil wars for 700 years. It without technology that's why it took so long because there was no technology involved.
Oh,
Like when
okay.
we look at nowadays, like things would have happened a lot quicker. It would have took a months or a couple of years, but it would be done by then. It's because of technology, and it just kills more people. I guess
Yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
just faster moving,
Yeah.
faster pace.
See, I thought you were going in completely different directions.
Yeah,
With that,
no.
I thought you meant like how history repeats itself, and when the empire starts focusing on different things, then it starts falling apart. Like you hear that from a lot of like controversial people,
Uh huh.
influencers today, how they say stuff like that. Like it's not a likable thing to say because the main media presents it like that being a good thing, but technically that's what made a bunch of empires fall apart.
Weak man.
Weak men and focusing on pretty
The
much,
wrong stuff.
yeah, everyone knows what we're talking about, we just don't want to say it. It's no, we're not experts on this, we'll just say that.
Yeah. Okay, we
But
could talk about how the Egyptians advanced the world
how they advanced
next.
the world, yeah, they created a lot of new things since they were like one of the first main like civilizations or empires. They kind of gave humanity a little kickstart, but they were actually one of the first. They were the first civilization that created paper and ink, and there's historians that like finding their writings and like all that, all those documents like to this day, and it's like kind of cool to see how
That's crazy.
yeah, like that all their writings for the government and everything like that. So yeah,
How
it's
do
kind
they
of
stay? How do they get? How do they stay preserved?
you just got to put
This is
in, I
insane.
guess, good
Airtight.
conditions. It has to be like dry
Airtight.
areas and dark and everything like that, so there's no damage.
It has to
But
be
yeah,
airtight as well.
yeah,
Otherwise,
and just
oxygen
it
will
worked out pretty
deteriorate.
much. They had a bunch of probably paper back then, and like some of it got preserved. But yeah, it's
Papyrus.
pretty cool to see like 5,000 year pieces of paper still
Yeah, that
being
is
seen.
insane.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
they also were they were into like staying healthy and hygienic, and they were the first to begin taking women's health seriously and like taking into consideration. Like before then, like you know what women's health is, right? No?
I guess so. I mean, what do you mean by women's health?
Dripping of blood.
All right.
Anyways, yeah, they're the first ones to take that into consideration, and they have the oldest recorded books of like surgical techniques and like surgeries and everything like that. They practiced dentistry as well. Like they're widely practiced over there. They were the ones to invent toothpaste, toothbrushes, toothpicks, and breath mints. So they just like took all that stuff seriously. And I think that's an important thing for civilization is to make sure your people stay alive, you know? Because if you don't take care of yourself hygienically and make sure your body is healthy, like you're not going to have a strong civilization. So that kind of makes sense why they were able to kind of like stay on top for so long. Is because they actually took care of themselves.
Yeah, because the people were strong,
Yeah.
create more money.
You know, they were also the first ones to actually shave.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Shape?
Shave.
Insane.
Before then, there was like the cavemen, super hairy people and
There's
everything like that.
massive beards. Just
Yeah. I wonder how they actually did that.
did what?
Shaved? Did they have metal at that time? Well, they did.
No.
They did. They were
All the way back then?
Uh-huh. They were
Huh.
avid users of like bronze work and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Well, that's like so sketchy. They had to sharpen themselves, but I guess in a way that's how we do it right now as well.
It's a lot more like regular now.
Mm-hmm. Um, you have any other inventions that they created? I know they did a lot, but that's kind of just what I had in my list.
No,
Kind of
I
ran
don't.
through it way too quickly and did a little
The
sloppy, but
inventions.
yeah,
No, I don't know any of the inventions they made.
you
I
didn't.
just know
They
that they created some crazy stuff with the pyramids.
yeah, they were
Crazy
really
insane stuff.
good. Like art, they had like really good architecture, and it was just different from what most people built during that time.
Yeah,
Before we
apparently.
get into that, here, hold up. I'm just gonna go through like some of their advancements as well. Um, they were known for having like really good scientists, mathematicians, astronomers, and human biologists or like the surgeons and stuff. Because as I said, like they did the mummifications and they were able to study the body. But let's not get into that since Alec doesn't like it. But uh, do you get upset when I poke at you for that?
Yeah?
Anyways, world doesn't go your way usually, right?
What are you talking about?
Uh, shoot. So yeah, they had very great scientists and whatever I was saying, but they led the world at that time in all those subjects that I listed, and they created stuff like the quadratic formula for like math. Do you know what the quadratic formula is or equation?
Yeah.
What is it? Tell me.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Is that not right?
Welcome to math. It's the Pythagorean theorem.
Oh, wait, what?
A
Quadratic
squared plus
formula?
yeah, opposite of B plus or minus radical B squared
Oh,
minus
shoot. I did not think it was that. Completely forgot. I haven't taken math in
4C
such a long
all
time.
over
You know that by heart?
2A. My teacher. I don't know if did I say that completely right. I might have missed a
Okay,
couple.
x equals negative b plus
Up.
minus square root.
Yeah. Anyways, is that one. But the reason I know is because my 10th grade math teacher actually taught our whole entire class the song I just sang, and he used to kind of he led what are they called? Not acapellas, but you know when there's like four different sections in a choir and like each section sings at a different time. So like this one section starts right here, next starts like 2 seconds after, next starts 2 seconds after, and it kind of just
It's
goes like that.
yeah.
But yeah, he taught us to do that. So like in the middle of math class, we'd be just singing. So that's the only reason I know the formula, and it was a big part of our 10th grade math class or
I
ninth
thought
grade. I don't
about
remember.
I thought you were talking about Pythagorean theorem. I didn't think
It's
that
okay.
they were
Not
this
everyone can be
complex.
smart, Alik.
I guess so. I didn't think they did. I didn't think they would do anything this complex.
Right, but they did. That's why it's fascinating.
Like square root. They knew what square root was. And then
Mathematicians.
powers.
Well, they
That's
created it.
pretty far ahead. Yeah, that's
Like math was created by people. It wasn't like a thing.
well.
So
Well, I know, but like,
it's a
well,
made-up
math is a
subject.
thing. It's not made.
It's a
up.
made up subject.
No, that's the language of. That's the language of the world. Math is the language of the world. What are you talking about? What?
Couldn't have said it any better.
What are you talking about? Everything works by math.
It does, but I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny how you said it. Math is the language of the world. But yeah, you're definitely right. Like everything runs off of math and equations. So, and that's just like it's the same all around the world, and everyone can understand it the same way. Like I understand what you're saying.
Which
But yeah.
that's why they think if aliens come, they'll be able to talk to them using math
Yeah.
because it's just the common language.
Even on the. Alright, yeah. Never mind. I don't think that's right. What I was about to say. I was gonna talk about. Do you know like the disc they sent out into space on those like Voyager
Yeah.
like things? They have like a disc on there that shows the exact like location of our planet. I was gonna say they have like mathematical equations on there, but it's literally just astronomy.
But how
But
that makes no sense because isn't like the Earth moving through space?
I don't even know.
Apparently, the Earth is moving through space. Like the whole solar system is moving
Yeah,
through
it
space.
expands, but
Not expands. Like the whole thing, like it like in a group, and it's moving at enormous speeds out all together with the sun and everything together.
I don't
Apparently,
know.
that's what they said. But how are you supposed to show them the coordinates if we're always moving?
They didn't show the coordinates. They showed our solar system, and they showed where
showed
we're
our solar
located in the
system?
solar system. Yeah, like our sun and like everything around our sun. So if you're saying the whole group moves at a um all together,
That speed.
then
Yeah.
that means that whole group is going to stay together. So that's how they're going to be able to find us
Okay.
in a way. But yeah, they also created the calendar and like clocks. They had like their own like type of calendar and clock that they used with like the solar system. So that's like the astronomers, they created those things. And as I was saying before, like they had a bunch of medical advancements. They created all the surgical books and the techniques of their time. Like we've obviously advanced, but they did a lot of that stuff, and they created a lot of like surgical tools. They actually were the first ones to use a form of like plastic surgery in a way. I
Really?
guess you wouldn't consider makeup and wigs as plastic surgery, but cosmetics. They were like the first ones to use cosmetics. Because like even on like the books or movies that you watch, like the Egyptian leaders, they had a bunch of like makeup on. Like you saw like black eyeliner that they have like all the way across.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were the first ones to practice that, and like Cleopatra has like that goofy wig.
Yeah, it's because of lice.
Is it?
Yeah.
They used to shave their heads and wear that instead.
Yeah, because of lice. They had an insane amount of lice. Like it was insane how much lice they had. When
That
their
would make
wig
sense,
got
yeah.
infested with lice, they could just throw it away. But their
Right.
hair, if it gets infested, like they just cut it off. So they used wigs. It was most
Makes
of the
sense.
high people did that. I'm pretty sure.
Is that why, like George Washington and that generation of people had wigs as well?
Well, I have no idea, to be honest.
Nah, I think they just looked pimp with those wigs.
They look
Honestly,
sick.
I would wear that.
Oh, back in the day, 100%.
Perfect locks, like all the way down.
Yeah, wear one right now.
I'm not rich enough.
They,
to
they,
have
they had
one of
white hair, right? Like it was like white.
those. Yeah, the wigs were white.
The wigs were white. I wonder why. Why white?
This is a fad back then. Why do people get perms right now? It's a fad. But
I guess.
yeah, they also were the first ones to do like farming with irrigation involved with it. So they, you know how the Nile like floods every single year?
Yeah.
Obviously back then it did the same thing, but they used to dig ditches to use that for their advantage. Instead of it flooding that whole entire area, they would dig ditches. Almost cussed right there, but they extended it to like super far or distant fields, and they would like use that as an irrigation system, like canals or something, and they would take it all the way to like those distant farms. But
That's actually when they believe that people were working on the pyramids. A part of them, they were when it flooded, they would work, and then when the water went away, they would go back to the fields.
yeah, let's get into the architecture now. So obviously, they were well known for their pyramids, and
Oh yeah.
kind of get you want to get into that?
Yeah. So they were known for their pyramids, and I see that. Let's see this picture. There's a picture of this very very nice temple right here. Female. It was a female ruler that was laid in the temple, and so
Cleopatra.
it looks super nice, huh?
Was it Cleopatra or no?
Doesn't It doesn't really say. I don't
Anyways,
think so.
yeah.
It's 1550 BC.
Okay.
No, so it was
Yeah,
probably
it's
way
before her time.
Yeah. So it's an insane building. Like when you look at it, you don't think that it's from that back in the day. Like
Mhm.
how do they have that kind of technology? And so the temple temple is sort of doable, but the pyramids are insane. They were made with the average stone size was 2.5 tons, I believe. I
Mhm.
believe it was 2.5 tons.
That's a lot.
But that's insane.
5,000
That's
pounds
a
for
car.
a stone. And I'm
No
pretty sure
wheels.
like they were super far away. Like the quarries were like 500 miles away, right?
500 miles away.
The nearest quarry is 500 miles away from the pyramids that they built. So, and they used to like dig that, like they've explored that area to see if there's any like hidden quarries, but like there's nothing. So like
Yeah.
the
And
only
there's
way they
proof.
could get it,
There's proof that it's from there because of the rock formations, how it was made. They know that
Yeah.
it was made from that
because
quarry.
in the area of the pyramids they didn't have those type of rocks that they
Yeah.
used. So it's crazy. Because even if you think about it, rocks can chip and stuff, but they somehow carried massive like 5,000 pound blocks without any like wheels equipment, and they took it 500 miles without chipping it, and somehow took it 50 feet up in the air and placed it on top of other things without any like
Okay, I could actually
equipment.
speak on that. So
Yeah.
there was 2.3 million blocks of cut limestone, and 2.5 tons is the average size. The big ones, the big rocks, were 70 to 80 tons. 70 to 80 tons. Those were the big rocks. But how do they believe that it was made? They used to believe that it was on a ramp and it was like just placed on top. But they believe now that it's made like an igloo, so it's kind of made from the inside out.
how would they do that? Still, that's kind of
No
impressive.
idea.
I know
Like,
that the Egyptians were actually they created some type of tools like they created ramps and levers to like thrust the large objects into the air. So I guess with levers they can somehow do that. Did they have? They didn't even have pulley systems back then.
probably not.
Yeah,
They just had to pull it on their backs. They had to
they just had a
pull it
bunch of people pull it.
insane weight. Well, they believe that it was 20,000 people, only 20,000 people per
Skilled
pyramid.
workers.
Skilled workers. They were
Because there
like
is
they
a
knew what they were
theory
doing.
where the Egyptians had slaves and stuff, but that was disproven, right?
Yeah, so the big theory was that it was Jews, that Israelites or Jews,
Mm-hmm.
but right here, Professor Mazar, we're taking his word for it because apparently he knows. So he says that Jews didn't exist at the period when the pyramids were built.
They
So there was
existed, but
probably
I
no
don't think
country. They weren't considered
they
Jews.
weren't slaves at that time.
Probably not. No.
Yeah. The thing is, I also heard that like it couldn't have been like slaves and stuff because they weren't like it had to be skilled workers because of the type of like constructing that they did required like people that actually were experienced in that type of thing. So slaves wouldn't be necessarily like a good like they wouldn't be good to use them
Yeah.
type of thing.
So I'm gonna explain to you guys how people think that it was made, like in regular terms, how people
Mm-hmm.
think that it was done with 20,000 people in 20 years, right? And then you can believe if it's real or not. And then I'm gonna bring the other side of, you know, I'm gonna bring
Right.
the other side. I'm gonna explain a little later on that. But anyways, so they used water and oils, like I think it was pig oils, pig fat, to line on the sand where the stones were gonna move, and to make it easier for the stones to move. They were basically on a sled. It was some form of sled to move those rocks, 500 miles away, which doesn't sound very believable. Still, even with the fat and water, that's still 500 miles, which is
Right.
insane for 80-ton rocks to be moved like that. Well, and only 20,000 people, and it wasn't 20,000 people at all times. It was around 10,000 people for half the year until it was flooded, until the Nile flooded, and the people that were working the fields no longer have to work the fields. They go and work at the pyramid city. So around the pyramid was built a whole city, and so there was people bringing food. There was and that's all included in the 20,000 people, the people that supplied them with food, the markets that provided everything for them. All of that was considered in the 20,000 people, which that just doesn't make sense. And they were saying that the people that were like getting it ready, the 10,000 people at the beginning, built the ramps, they built everything to get ready for when the 20,000 people came, and they did everything, which that just does not sound believable.
Yeah. 20,000 is a lot, but still like they didn't have the technology that we have in today's day, so
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
plus it was 2.3 million stones of limestone.
And like the
Pieces
heavy
of
ones, like
limestone.
how do you lift that up?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it just doesn't sound believable. Like,
Yeah, like the the archaeologists and historians like they don't understand how they were like that was created. Like there's no explanation for that. Like there's theories and stuff, but
uh,
like they can all be argued against. It's like it's crazy how that was created.
yeah, they made some like experiments to see like if they were able to move rocks, and so
Hmm.
18 people were able to move a rock. What was it, like 18 meters per minute? But I don't know the specifics on that. I just know that they were able to do it. But 18 people, 18 meters per minute. That's far. 18 meters.
A
18
minute,
meters is
it's
like
that's all
is
right.
like
Yeah.
60 feet.
Uh huh.
60 feet a minute. That's still pretty far a minute. I
For a
don't
five
know how.
thousand pound stone.
Probably it was probably 5,000 pounds. Yeah,
I mean,
60 feet.
yeah, you can maybe carry it like 500 miles. It's a long way. You can maybe
It's a
take it
really
that
long way.
distance, but then how do you explain how they lifted those stones up and like arranged it like that? There's no explanations
I
for
have
that.
no idea.
That's crazy. What was the
Yeah.
second theory that you were gonna bring up?
The second theory I was gonna bring up is they were helped,
They were
or
helped.
okay. There's two
They were
theories. There's
influenced.
two theories. They were influenced by aliens, or they were more advanced than we think. Right?
They
Because
had
of
the
the
technology.
they sort of had the technology. Maybe they had like wheels, or they had a certain way of
They
moving
had
those
wheels.
rocks. They did.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, those wheels would probably break from the stress of the rocks. 2.5 tons, no wheel, no wooden wheels supporting that.
I'm pretty sure they had Ford F-150s at that time too.
Yeah, you think they had semi trucks too? Semi truck would probably be able to tow it.
Probably. Okay, it
Yeah.
says here the wheel was known since the 5th dynasty. So that was kind of, I mean, it was in the year like 2500 BC, so they did have a wheel. But
But they don't believe that a wheel was used to move it necessarily, because they didn't
yeah.
find any proof of it. Because there's no real wheel that can take on 2.5 tons at the time. Like they could probably make it out of stone, but
Yeah, just
on
everything.
on desert sand, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, everything with it, just like it's hard to believe and it's crazy because even the stones that they cut, they didn't have any like electrical tools or anything. They used hand saws, like metal saws that they cut like that, and it was like precise cuts as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't like chipped away. It was precise, like clean cuts.
Yeah. Okay. So
So
I'm gonna
bring in the
say
alien theory.
the alien theory. Okay, we'll start
Yeah.
with the alien theory. The alien theory is that they were helped by aliens because it would have been done in 20 years easily if it was aliens, and like the Egyptians helped. I guess they were probably helping around, but like they were able to get it moved. You know, the aliens were able to get the rocks moved, and I don't know how, but they were able to get it done because
It's
the
it's also set up like how the pyramids are set up with
exactly.
like you know more. Like so I'll just let you talk.
Yeah. So the way that it's set up is that the math was done. If the math was done by aliens, it makes sense because we don't know how they'd know uh, the size of Earth, because the pyramid is 43,200 ratio of Earth. So it's like 1 to 43,000. It's exact measurements of Earth. That's how it's set. It's also the number of the speed of light. It's not the exact number, but it like files into the exact numbers. The speed of light.
Coincidence?
I think not. And then the orbital veracity of the moon, and then the mass of the sun was also. If you play around with the numbers, you'll find numbers that fit in with all of them.
They did have one of the best astronomers at the time.
You think they could
So
find out like the size of the sun?
they have to be very smart or advanced.
Yeah, they'd have to be very
So
smart.
either the theory of the aliens that helped them out, or that they were more of an advanced species than or
So
civilization, not species. That
so
we thought.
there's the theory of they were more advanced. They in the pictures themselves, they have pictures of sort of like lamps, and they have batteries. They had batteries back in the time. Like, it's not proven. Like in the books, it's not written, and probably like archaeological books or whatever. But people's like they can't explain it. But it was a bowl with a certain type of acid, and I think it was copper or bronze inside to make it work. So they had batteries. In some pictures, they have like massive light bulbs, which is like if they have light and electricity, they probably were a little more advanced, and all the stuff that like all the technology was
Dude,
lost or whatever.
that's crazy. Like light wasn't created until like what 1800. The light bulb
Yeah.
and electricity.
Yeah, because
1800, 1900.
let's see. I might pull it up, but
Pull what up?
the picture of like the light, like it's like an image, super like a light bulb. There's like a thing going through like a massive like bulb type of thing.
Yeah, we can post it if anything
Yeah.
you find it. But yeah, that's one theory to believe, because there's conspiracy theories that ancient civilizations were covered up by like mudslides or mudstorms or something like that. So Yeah, there's always the theory of how if they were maybe like more advanced and they had all that stuff already, and like there's a
Yeah.
great reset every couple thousand years or something.
Yeah. It
But
was called the Dendera light.
then
And
they're
there's
like,
there's multiple images of the lights being held up and like in areas, which is crazy. Like
yeah,
it's insane. Like back in the day, that's insane. Electricity. They had electricity at the time. They also think that the way it was basically like a solar like a it took energy from the sun and created electricity. So that's how their cities were what's it called were powered because it was lined with limestone and then the cap was lined with either gold, I believe, or something very
mm-hmm.
precious.
Yeah,
And
it
so
was a
when the
gold.
sun hit it, the cap the inside apparently was all electrified and was made to into a way where it creates a massive electricity like type of thing. There's
Yeah,
also many different pictures of how um, semiconductors or like boards are built where the pyramids could be a computer, where they're like match exactly of how you would build a semi. What is it called? What are the boards called? Motherboards? Just boards, I guess. Electrical
breadboard
boards.
circuits.
Just, I guess circuits, but it's like a board, like a
Those
board.
breadboards is
Yeah.
something.
So that's like there's just so many stuff. Like it could have been like a massive computer. That's what people think,
Yeah,
or electricity way of pulling
it's
electricity to
cool
the
to think
city.
of it that way, but just like, dude,
It's a
I
little
don't know. It's
impractical.
definitely hard to believe.
Yeah,
All that garbage. Like, there's
yeah,
no way
but you
they.
still think about how are they able to move that many rocks 500 miles away in less
Right.
than
Yeah.
20 years? In less than 20 years, that's just insane to think about. Like they, how are they able to do that without any sort of help?
World's biggest mystery.
Probably
But
not the biggest, but
yeah.
definitely up there. Pyramids are also one of the seven. What is it, seven mysteries of the world, or seven?
Yeah.
Seven wonders of the world. Sorry.
I think that's pretty much it with that for what we have today, right?
Yeah, leave it off with a bang.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I know it might be hard to listen right now. We're definitely still learning, and like this is our first time like doing pretty much a research report on a podcast. We did like a couple days. We researched all this stuff and like put it together, and we're still not used to like I guess talking
Yeah.
about things that we just learned. But yeah, it was fun to like actually like research and learn about all this stuff and just like new civilizations. We're gonna try to get a little bit better at talking on this for the next couple episodes or podcasts. We're gonna do the Roman Empire, Greek. We have a bunch of them, but
We have
hopefully
a
we.
really nice one also. I believe it like matches in their heritage as well.
Oh yeah, the Ukra- Kiev Rus Empire.
Oh yeah. I'm
Try to get
excited
some
for
stuff
that
with
one.
that, yeah.
I'm excited
But
for that one.
yeah, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening, watching. Join us next time. See ya.